Hi all! Today it is April the 12th. It is day 32 in isolation, and it also happens to be my birthday. So happy birthday to me, Mads. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, a lovely birthday cake. I love it. A nice Easter brew from a Danish brewery. Speaking about the COVID-19 virus, we now have 260 dead people in Denmark, so it's still a very slow climb, and even corrected for population, it is very slow. And that's a good thing. About today's electrical topic, it will be a large blue stone polishing machine that I tore some parts out of, and we will see if we can get that to work. So let's take a look at some large AC servo motors and drives. These are the parts I chose to take out of the stone polishing machine that you saw in the first pictures. A very big machine. But also very simple. It only had two smaller frequency drives for adjusting the polishing head, and I'm not quite sure, this was for some feed-in motor. And then we have the big linear X-axis drive here. This is a AC servo motor at 3 kilowatt. It had this single Omron drive with it. Along with the servo drive, there is a power resistor or braking resistor. This is a 50 ohm, 400 watt braking resistor. So that's actually nice and useful for some future stuff, as it's 50 ohm. A nice little shield. Do not touch this machine because it has no brain. Use your own. Now the control of the servo motor, that's a little more exotic. Green cable is encoder, yellow or orange cable is the power. This all connects up to the drive itself, but the drive have this nice connector, 4 brown wires, maybe for some digital control. And then there is this analog cable going all the way through up to the panel that unfortunately was missing from the machine. So I think I will get this powered up, see if it actually works. See if I can find the manual according to this connector, what these 4 brown wires is for, and if I can feed a signal in. And if I'm lucky, then I can actually choose direction with these 4 wires and speed with this, and actually control this without having the panel for it. Besides the 3-phased input for the power section of the drive, it also needs an external 24 volt DC. Now we can see I kept the wire markings on the wires when I cut them, because this makes reverse engineering much easier. Now 100 and 110, we can see that is 0 volt and 24 volt DC. I also took the 24 volt power supply from the system, and as we can see here, it is marked 100 and 101. So we have our negative DC supply rail, and the difference in the number, because we can see this is potentially marked up. So if a wire goes all around the machine but carries the same potential, it will have the same number. This is a common used method in control panels. So the plus is named 101 here, but 110 here. This is because this would go through a fuse before being distributed out in the panel. So we can safely assume that this is also the same potential, just through a fuse. Now if we look back at the connector here that had the 4 wires, we can see we have 100, 110, which is exactly the same as on the drive. So 24 volt DC and ground is going to this plug as well. So we can only assume there is 2 control wires, 115 and 200. So I'll have to take this plug apart, look up in the manual, but before we do that, let's just try and fire this up, see if it actually works. I now have the servo motor connected, 24 volt DC. Motor connected here, braking resistor, 3-phased input, 24 volt DC, and the encoder on the motor. So let's try to turn on the 24 volt DC. Okay, the fan spin. 66. Okay, it seems like the display maybe is broken because those 2 characters and the dot seems a little weird. Maybe it's just the mains power missing. I'll try to turn that on. Okay, that gave me another dot, but not much else. Try to turn the control voltage on and off. Okay, that's the same. Motor is not controlled in any way. It's oh, that's kind of funky. Something in the display is changing when I turn the shaft here, but it does not feel like it's controlled at all. Consult the manual and return with something else. I found the manual online, which is not hard for older hardware like this. From that I can see this is connector 1, which it also say on the front of the servo drive. Now this is a 50 pin connector. As you can see, it has 4 rows of pins there, 4 wires. And backtracing the small signal cable for the analog signal and the 4 brown ones, I have come up to this from the manual. As we can see, the connector 1 is a motion control unit cable, position control, general purpose cable, or a terminal block. So it seems it's a quite open interface that I can actually just talk to via some other analog or digital signals. Now the unit that I have here is a 3-phased 400 volts 30 DE-OY. And we see it can do a maximum output current of 28 amps. So that must have a fair IGBT size brick there. And we can see it uses 3-phase full wave rectification, IGBT, PWM, sine wave current drive method. The I/O specification. Now, what I did locate was that the wire named 100 goes to the 24 volt in, which says control power supply input for sequence signals. User must provide 24 volt DC. So we must input 24 volt DC. Now the 110, 41, that's a functional selected by parameter. So that's a different way of activating either precision to speed, precision torque, or torque speed, zero clamp reference, reference pulse block, all kinds of control method that has to be set up via a parameter. So I do not need to activate that. Now 115, that's on pin 29. Pin 29, there. S ready, servo ready on if there is no servo alarm. So that's just a feedback, we're not going to use that. Pin 40, 200, that's a common. Servo on, turns on the servo motor when the gate block in the inverter is released. So I have to at least give that a signal or pull that down as we see in the schematic. Now the analog signal, that's on 5 and 6. So you can see 5 and 6, it's a speed voltage reference, ±2 to ±10 rated motor speed. So we have to give that an analog signal. Now jumping to the schematic, we can see we have pin 5 and 6 here. So pin 6 is grounded, and we have to supply some positive or negative analog voltage there. Pin 47, which is the common 24 volt in for the digital input here, we are only interested in S on, which is this. We can see it go through a optocoupler, so we have to supply a negative rail in order to activate that. The 0 to 10 volt I need, I can get this from 24 volt DC. We can see here I got 24 volt DC. Now I have a 100k pot meter with a 150k resistor in series with the positive connection to it. I have the negative connection out here, and on the middle leg I have my voltage out. And as I turn that, I now get 0 to 10 volt DC. Voltage divider potentiometer. I got the connector 1 inserted here. I got the 24 volt supply and such to the rails that need it on the connector, and the last thing I would need is to connect this wire to the negative side of the DC supply in order to activate the servo motor. Now the potentiometer is turned all the way down for 0 volt speed reference. So let's first turn on the mains power supply and then the control voltage. Okay, that did not look good. Well, since it's still on, I guess we'll just continue then. There's also a one-pager for the operating functions and how the display work on the unit. And what I thought was a broken display is actually just a lot of information into single 7-segment displays. That the 66 fault code is actually BB for base block, motor off. Then it can also write run, pot, not for forward rotation prohibited or reverse rotation prohibited, but these are 2 digital inputs and those are not set at the moment. Now I only have the 4 buttons, so this is pretty simple what I can do, and this is not the full manual with all parameters written into it. So I will just try to activate the servo drive, but first we can see here that there is a motor rotation detection, the upper line. So once I turned the shaft, that was the unit that blinked last time we saw that. So we can check this. We can see we have the dot at the bottom is controlled circuit power supply on. Here we are at the base block, and we are during speed control. Now over here we only have a single dot, which is main circuit power supply on. Now we do not have anything on there because that would be torque command being input or error counter reset signal being input. The second would be speed command being input during speed control or command pulses being input. So I'm not quite sure which one is on or off. I will try to connect the control line to the negative side. We'll see what happens. AF6. Yeah, not sure what that is. Could be alarm fault 6. Now checking a manual for this drive here, we can see that the alarm F6, it's a servo motor disconnection alarm. The detected torque is 10% or less, but the commanded torque reference is 90% or more for 10 milliseconds. This alarm is not activated in case of base block due to hardware issues. In those cases, an AF6 or AB3 is generated instead. So this could be a hardware issue that the IGBT brick simply is blown or something like that. But it says that I have to check the servo motor power line wiring or replace the servo amplifier. So I can only check the wiring. I'm certainly not replacing anything. Now I tried turning the potentiometer and we can see that it actually went into, it removes the speed conformity or positioning complete sign, and it goes into, let's see, that was the middle one that was speed command being input during speed control. So I still need something to tell it that it should be running. So maybe it just needed a speed control input before. Nope. The motor connection plug, it looked very clean, no dirt in there at all. I did connect the earth wire from the motor, so we'll just see if that does it. Other than that, I can only deem the drive to be dead. So mains power, control power, we're in base block again. It is in speed control mode, as we can see from the line over there, and it blinks as it detects the motor rotation. So I will try to command servo on again. Same fault. I did what I could. I say this unit is dead, so let's just tear it down.